Welcome to the Bassline. Harry Fisher is America's paramedic. He had the courage to speak out from the front lines when others didn't. He has seen a stark increase in cardiac events, sudden deaths, and all-cause mortality across the board. He has been attacked, he has been maligned, but he remains undaunted. It is my privilege to welcome back to the Bassline my good friend, Harry Fisher. How are you, brother? How are you doing today?
Doing good. How are you doing?
Doing good, man. So a couple quick announcements for my Baseline audience. Next Sunday, not this Sunday, the 7th, but next Sunday, the 14th, we're going to have our next 528 frequency jam at Rock Mill Fitness. That's 274 Lenox Avenue. Doors are 3:30 p.m. Please come through. We're building up a scene. It's a great time. It's been a privilege and a pleasure to meet some of my listening audience at these events. So if you haven't come through yet, please come through and soak up some of the rhythm and the great vibes. So that's next, not this, but next Sunday, December 14th, 3:30 p.m., Rock Mill Fitness, 274 Lenox Avenue. Number two, please check out my latest Substack article. It's called Keep That Same Energy. Read it, like it, share it. Please subscribe to my Substack. That's where I get to organize my thoughts and share them with you. And please become a free subscriber right away. And if you can, become a paid subscriber. That means the world to me, helps put food on the table for my two young children. But at the very least, be a free subscriber right away. And please tell your friends to do so. I'm slowly and steadily increasing my subscribership, but I would love to have many, many, many more subscribers because that means that the word is getting out and that people are engaging in this conversation. Also, of course, you can go to jeremiahhosea.com, get the theme song of this show and other pieces of original audio. I'm actually a musician who plays instruments and hires other people to play instruments. So if you want to support music making where people actually make the instruments and don't just push a button and then the computer makes the music for you, then go to jeremiahhosea.com and support some original music over there. And of course, last of all, I'm also a chess teacher and I'm the founder of remotelearningchess.com. Contact me for a lesson. I'll teach you from scratch, or if you're an experienced player but just need some ideas and some inspiration, contact me. If you have a young person in your family, get them their video game or whatever they want for Christmas, but then also say, and I signed you up for chess lessons, so you can know that you're contributing to their intellectual development and their well-being. And of course, you get a Baseline discount. And I'd love to work with you in that domain as well. So all that being said, let's get into this discussion with my good friend, Harry Fisher. Harry is a paramedic. He's an author. He's a very well-known figure in medical freedom at this point for his personality and his outspokenness. So I'd actually like to ask you, first of all, Harry, give us a little recap, if you could, in terms of some of your recent media appearances. I know you've had an interview with Dr. Mary Talley Bowden, who's a former guest of this program. Wonderful individual. I know you appeared on the Dark Horse podcast. What are some of your recent media appearances and how have those conversations been going?
They've been going well. Like you said, Dr. Mary Talley, she's a good friend and she's a fighter. She's a warrior. Love her to death. Been on the Dark Horse podcast, like you said, with Brett Weinstein. That was a really neat experience. He's a very smart guy, and just I consider him a friend now. He's just he's got a lot of information. So I suggest people watch Mary, watch Brett, and they have like a lot of good stuff going, and they're not scared to fight the power. Basically, also been on with Dr. David Cartland. He's a great human being fighting over in the UK. I've been just making the rounds. I was on with Altman not that long ago. He's a really good guy. Not afraid to stand up either. It's wild how we all start to be brought together. I mean, you know what I mean. You've been in this for a while. Like we're all kicked into a corner, and now we're all making friends, and that's how movements start.
Yeah, they put the wrong people in contact with each other. Now they're in big trouble.
They really did. It's a blessing. I mean, it felt like a curse at the beginning. It felt like we were all alone. You know, the feeling whenever the world was being told to do something that we didn't want to do or shouldn't have had to do. And that's what they did. They put the wrong people in contact with one another. And instead of just being lost in loneliness, we decided to make a team. And that team is a true grassroots movement that's just it's totally, I don't want to say blowing up, but I mean it is mind-boggling how big this organization of real people is becoming.
I second that. And let's talk a little bit about your frontline experience, your ongoing frontline experience. You have a very traumatic job, I would say. Seeing injured people, seeing accidents, seeing acts of violence, and you run to the scene to go and help people who have been injured under these various circumstances. Not everybody can do that. So, I mean, first of all, my hat's off to you for the incredible work that you do. I mean, not everybody can say they're making that kind of contribution to society, but you've observed a lot of changes since the rollout. Things have been different, and you've described that in your book. You've described that in interviews. You described that in your previous interview with me. But how has that changed, or how has that continued? Are you still seeing the same sort of mortality that you've been seeing since the rollout? Has it tapered off a little bit? What's your assessment?
The We're not seeing as much, of course, the whole people falling out in vaccine lines because there's no one standing in those lines really anymore, especially where I live. I mean, you might get the rando that hasn't completely succumbed to their vaccine going into a CVS or something like that, or a Walgreens or a Walmart, you know, quietly getting their shot because, no one's really doing that anymore. Most people aren't taking the boosters where I live. It seems like nationwide they're not taking the boosters. But now what we're seeing is a massive amount of cancers, turbo cancers like I've never seen before. Like, how to explain it? I'm running calls. Typically, typically I'm picking people up from a hospital that need to go to a higher level of care. So I'm picking them up from hospitals that can't take care of what they've found, what they've diagnosed. So they're going to a higher level of care. And I'm finding out that these people just had a headache a couple weeks ago, and now they're diagnosed with stage 4 brain cancer or tumors that have just gone from 0 to 100, in 2.5 seconds. I mean, it's insane how fast, how rapid these cancers are growing. You didn't see this before the COVID shots. Like you heard about someone having aggressive cancer years ago, but you didn't see it in droves. You didn't see all, especially in the younger population. We're seeing younger people with colon cancer, and it's rapid colon cancer. It's not like something easy that they can deal with. It's stage 4 type cancers in younger people. It's very disheartening. And then we're also seeing congestive heart failure in the younger crowd. Basically, it seems like these shots caused anything that could happen later in life to go ahead and happen to these people. Like if whatever it could inflame or whatever inside the human body, the individual's body that was already like the body was fighting to take care of. It's like these shots just brought down the defenses and made it to where these elements just came on full speed.
Like the attacking the weakest link in the chain sort of effect.
Right. Yeah.
So let me hear from you in terms of the effect that it's had on the workforce that surrounds you, because I know you've seen some injuries to paramedics. I know you're doing unbelievably long hours. I know as your friend, you're doing these shifts that I don't think it should be legal to make somebody work that long. But there's a shortage of a workforce, right? There's less people who are able to work now. Is this true?
Yeah, it's very true. I mean, typically, like all last month, I worked like 72-hour shifts. So on shift for 72 straight hours. Some people are working longer than that. I've done 96-hour shifts. I'm just getting older. I'm clipping 50 years old, so it's just I'm getting tired. But our workforce, I have medics that have had 3 strokes already. still working those type of hours. Thankfully, not bad deficits. Their strokes were caught in time, but they took their shot under 30 years old, took their shots and had 3 strokes, and they're still having to work, pay bills, do everything they possibly can, and that's what the system did to them. I have another medic that's been out because of cancer, colon cancer, rapid. Like I remember a month prior, they were talking about having stomach pain, and then within a month they had to have emergency surgery because the colon cancer had grown so much. They just were like, we got to go in and remove parts of your colon now. So yeah, so we've been down medics from injuries that I know we could attribute to that shot, but no one's going to look into it. No one's going to research it. I mean, it's just not happening. It's so they say correlation isn't causation, but they won't study the correlations. They won't actually look into it. So it's like, okay, well, what are we supposed to do with this? Like, you took your shot, you got rapid cancer, and now you're not going to study it. You took your shot, they died suddenly. We're not going to study it. It's an impossible situation we're dealing with. I mean, if they're not looking for a problem, they're not going to find a problem. It's really that simple.
It is that simple, I would say. You're right. Um, let's shift over to, because I'm following you on X, of course, and we co-host spaces from time to time, and the trolls just go after you relentlessly. And I don't mean to even fuel their fire at all. I mean, they're non-entities. They're a bunch of clowns, from my point of view. And I don't think that most of them are genuine people. They really do seem like paid opposition. I don't know if some of them are even well-programmed bots, pharma bots, but it's just as a phenomenon to observe. It's just remarkable. I mean, people are just gunning for you, basically. I mean, you can post something, and then there are the trolls, ding, 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 just 100 comments, just trying to just denounce you and denigrate you. I mean, just give us a little description of the kind of trolling you're being subjected to on a daily basis.
Constant harassment, slander, defamation, everything. Like I've had them send pictures of my children. I've had them go after my ex-wife's Facebook account, so much so that even my ex-wife was getting hold of me going, hey, I'm getting people trying to get information about you, and it's weird. So they're going to extreme lengths to try to shut me down, which is wild because it, I've never experienced anything like this in my life, and I'm certainly not saying anything mean to these people. I'm not coming at these people back at them. I'm not going to their pages trying to be rude or mean to them. The worst thing that I can think that I've done is say the truth about one of the nurses who was completely bashing unvaccinated people and utilized their mom and made a public article utilizing the death of their mom, their vaccinated mom, and tried to blame it on the unvaccinated people rather than looking at the shot possibly being the reason why the mom died. That's typically, though, I leave them all alone because I don't have to poke them very much. I just say what's on my mind, my opinion, say what I've seen, and they come at me like a legion of demons. It's really wild to witness. Well, what do? You don't let them shut you down. I mean, they try to shut you down, but you can't. I can't constantly just think about them. I typically just mute them. I don't block them because I believe in free speech. But I can mute you. I don't have to read your free speech. So I typically just, if they say something really crude or crass, I just mute them and go on about my day. And hopefully it all works out the way God wants it to work out.
Yeah, that's a good approach and a good attitude, I would say, for sure. Now, we've discussed this offline a little bit. I don't think we had a chance to discuss this the first time because, so much has transpired since I first interviewed you, and we become good friends in that time. And, um, there's an interesting little subject here, and I don't even know how to quite venture into it, but I figure we have to since this has come up in our common spaces, which is just this issue of the vaccine injured and the unvaxxed resistors making for strange bedfellows at times, right?
Yeah.
And it's just sort of a weird dynamic because the vaccine injured, they deserve the utmost compassion. I mean, some of these people that we know, they took a shot for one reason or another. They wanted to keep their job. They thought they were doing the right thing in the first place. They were pressured into it in one way or another. Then their health is destroyed. And you can only feel for these people. I mean, you could say you did something stupid, but how does that help to rub it in the face of someone who's just already suffering to such an incredible degree? But then it does kind of create the effect of our story getting left out in the cold a little bit, which is, but we refuse to take it. And we stood firm from the beginning, and we paid a price, maybe not to the same extent of having our health destroyed, but many of us lost our jobs. We were ostracized, and all the price that, that we had to pay for standing up, for standing firm against these dehumanizing mandates. What are some of your thoughts about how the vaccine resistors, the people who said no, can work in harmony with the vaccine injured?
So we have to have compassion. Love is key. Like loving your neighbor, that leads to compassion, that leads to all the good things, and you have to keep that in your heart, even though the world is beating us, like we're beating us constantly, like the trolls trying to constantly numb us to passion and compassion and love is what it is. It's trying to make us be hateful. It's what the negative forces want us to be hateful. They just do. So us being working together, start off with love and compassion. These people did, like you said, they took something, whatever their scenario was, but we know they were coerced. We know that they were lied to. We know that there was billions of dollars used to actually, mess with human psychology. You can look at NIH where they actually studied human psychology to peer pressure people into taking these shots. So they spent lots of money on how to manipulate people to take something that's poisonous. That's what they did. Um, so that's where we have to start with love and compassion, and then realize also that most of us weren't anti-vax to begin with. Something in our lives changed that caused us to see through the propaganda. Um, that's what either it's been injury, um, religion, spiritual motivation. A lot of people, it's a spiritual motivation that I've noticed. A lot of people that didn't want to take these shots, there was a spiritual motivation, and that's the reason why they've been going after religious exemptions for quite some time. They don't want people to use their religious exemptions. So it's pretty. We do make for strange bedfellows. Those of us that didn't take the shot, refused, and were willing to take the consequences that we shouldn't have had to face. And then those that took the shot and now are injured. I would say most of our group is made up of the injured. Like most people took the shot. What was it, like 80%, something like that? Took at least
Yeah,
one
well,
shot or two shots.
80% took the first shot, and then it's a straight downward slope.
Yeah, yeah. It was a sudden drop. If that sounds
Yeah,
familiar,
yeah,
sudden and unexpected drop. That happened all across the board. So we need them. They need us. They need people. We need people that have been injured to not only not only keep our compassion going, but they need us because we did have a very strong backbone at the time, and they're realizing they have a backbone. A lot of these people they forgot that. Not all of them, but a lot of them forgot that they have this backbone, this ability to stand.
yeah.
And now they've realized, hey, I can stand up. And people make mistakes. We all make mistakes. I've made mistakes in my life plenty. Thankfully, I
Yeah.
didn't make the mistake of taking that shot, but I've made plenty of mistakes.
Same here.
Um, yeah. So they're realizing the honest ones, which are the people we hang out with, they've realized they made a mistake and they're planning on not doing it again. And we're all coming together, figuring out how to grow and become a better team moving forward. So I think it's compassion and love is what we need most.
Yeah, I think you're right on about that. Now, let me ask you, because you do have quite a social media following, or I'd say rapidly growing social media following, or steadily growing, and you're making the rounds, doing interviews, and you have a book, and you're interacting with people in person and online. Are you seeing any awakening from people? Has anybody come back around who maybe challenged you or questioned you in the first place, or in any way, shape, or form? Are you seeing people waking up a little bit, or a lot, or to what extent are you seeing any sort of progress in that way?
Online, it seems to be the same people, pretty much at this point in time, it's the same. I mean, all the trolls that have been coming after me for the last few years are pretty much the same bot accounts that have zero following, started up seemingly around the time of COVID, and they all have the same moniker, the same avatars. They have like a Ukraine flag and a stone face and a panda, and they're all a part of this club. They make themselves obvious. Like it's like as soon as I see a Ukraine flag and a panda or a stone face, I'm like, okay, well, that's probably going to be a crappy comment. Oh, look, there's a crappy comment. So it's a very obvious group that comes after us, and they have like their head people in that group that they worship or whatever, and they stay the same. I haven't seen them change. Heck, some of them have already had heart attacks and heart problems, and right after they got their shots, and they still believe, oh my goodness, it would have been so much worse had I gotten COVID, even though they've had COVID like 10 times since then. So
Yeah.
no, I don't see much of a change there. In the real world, though, outside of online, I don't get any pushback. There's no pushback in my day to day. I can have meetings with medics, with nurses, which I do. I don't get any pushback. Nobody's saying that the shots are safe. For sure, nobody's saying the shots are safe. Most people, last medic meeting I was in, like imagine a room full of paramedics and EMTs and supervisors. Uh, we were all talking about the injuries that we've seen, the loved ones that have been injured from the shots. I mean, if you start talking about it, it's open conversation and people start telling about the things that they've experienced and witnessed. Nobody's sitting there going, thank God we had COVID shots. That doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah. Well, that's good to hear. Are you hearing anybody from within the professional ranks starting to actually speak up about it a little bit more, aside from maybe the realization that it wasn't a good thing that they were recruited into? Is anybody sort of joining the ranks of the dissenters?
Not so much the dissenters, but people are sending like I get text messages from my bosses, like the people upper echelon type people. I get text messages from them sending me like the most recent articles showing that the vaccine has killed children. Like they're sending out messages like that, and but standing up and talking like we do, not many, not any actually. They want to just keep it quiet. They don't want to
Yeah.
rock the boat. They have bills to pay. I mean, just like me, I have bills to pay. I have 4 kids. I have 2 special needs kids. Um, Rocking the boat is dangerous. I've even, recently had the National Registry post on one of my posts, like, we're going to be looking into him, even though I didn't say anything wrong. And I posted public knowledge information. Like my license is public knowledge. I go by my name. You can look up all my information. It's there for the public. But it's dangerous because if I lose my license, the people that hate me definitely want me to lose my license for speaking about what I see, then I've got to figure out how to pay for my kids. I've got to figure out how to pay all the bills. I've been doing this for almost 30 years, 27 years. I don't really know anything else. So it's just very dangerous. And a lot of people know that. So they don't want to rock the boat. It's just life.
Yeah, makes
But if we don't
sense.
rock the boat, we're screwed. Like it's one of those things, like that's what keeps me going is the knowledge of where we've been, what I've already experienced, and how bad it can be if I don't keep going, if I don't keep speaking, if I don't keep bringing up the tough subject. Because right now we were wounded, and if we don't address it, it's going to become a festering wound, and festering wounds become infections. So we've got to go ahead and treat it. We've got to take care of that wound, and by taking care of the wound, we stay honest, we stay vocal, we keep pushing. We have to, or we're in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, I think it's a great analogy. I'm going to use that one moving forward.
Okay.
Uh, yeah, it is a festering wound that must receive immediate treatment and ongoing treatment, unfortunately. So yeah, you mentioned the admission, or you alluded to, I think, that recent admission that COVID shots have killed 10 children. And then there's this sort of debate on our side, which is some people are saying, well, we know it's a lot more than 10, and we know that the damage is so much greater than that, but at least this is a good first step that they've admitted something. And then there are other people saying, no, 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 we're not going to let you get away with that lie. It's way more than 10 people, and don't even try to pull that next deception of claiming it's only 10. So what do you
Right.
think about this admission? How do we take that?
Um, Take it the same way it's going. I mean, we are going to have people like me, like you, that are going to say it's way more than 10 because we've seen it. We know enough people that are in these vaccine injured groups. We've met enough people to obviously blow that 10 number out of the water. Um, but they're going to slow play as much as possible because they're in a bunch of trouble, like a whole lot of trouble. They said something was safe that wasn't safe. They hid data. All of the information that's come out now is more than enough information to throw people in jail. We have more than enough information currently, enough peer-reviewed articles, enough everything. At first, they were like, "Show us the peer-reviewed article." You remember that years ago? They were like,
There's over
"If your
4,000
information."
peer-reviewed papers.
Yeah, now we can show you peer review after peer review, and then they just changed they moved the goalpost. Well, that peer review article was written by a doctor that I think is a quack.
Yeah,
It's
right.
like, oh, okay, wow. They're going to keep moving the goalpost as much as possible, and the information they're going to give is going to be lying information. When a liar says they're not going to lie anymore, expect a lie. I mean, I'm not saying that people can't change, but when people are obviously lying, that have lied to you many times in the past, look at the obvious lie for what it is. Okay, they're lying about the number, but hey, guess what? We need to go ahead and capitalize on the fact that some truth came out. So take some of the truth that they allowed and run with it, and then keep pushing. It's constant pressure. You have to have constant pressure. If we let up at all, they win. So we have to keep pushing, and we utilize the information that they have given. Okay, the FDA is going ahead and saying that there's 10 kids that have been killed. I lead my post with vaccines kill children. That's a fact. That's a fact all the way around. Vaccines kill children because they do. Period. Now, how many children? They won't study it. They won't actually go look for it. I don't know. I don't know that number, but I can say what I've seen. It's a lot. Kids are now, they're having to normalize myocarditis. When you're normalizing something that debilitates a person for life, that's that's a death sentence on its own eventually. So it doesn't suddenly kill them right now. Eventually it will. Like it kills you. Whenever commercials are coming out, whenever Mercy Hospital or whatever I think it was Mercy Hospital or Mercy or Presby. I think it was a New York hospital. I can't remember. Well, remember that commercial that came out and it was a little girl, a cartoon character, little girl. She's like, my doctor said that I have something called myocarditis and he's going to take care of me and everything's fine. And they started normalizing it with cartoon character kids to speak to children about their upcoming heart problems. Go get your COVID vaccine. It can't get any more demonic than that. I mean, that's so twisted on so many levels. So we know that number that they're giving us is a lie, but they still admitted that it's killed children. Whenever they totally were against it killing anybody at all at first. At first, it never harmed anyone. Never been like that was my arguments against me at the start. When I was saying I did CPR on a Pfizer line, this has just happened. Oh my gosh, I'm watching it kill people. They were like, "Oh no, you're lying. It never has killed anybody." I heard people say that to me that it's so safe that it can't kill you. Well, that's proven way, 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 way false now. So what do we have? We have them moving the goalpost, and then we've got to go ahead and just keep kicking them through the uprights. They can move it back as far as they want, and we can keep kicking it right through the uprights, and we're still going to win doing it that way.
Agree with you. So, as an artist, as a musician, and as a writer, I do take a lot of joy in the idea of a completed work. I love when I've finished an article. I love when I've recorded a song. And I'm also excited for my friends when they complete a work of art. And we did mention that you have a book the first time I interviewed you, but just tell us more about your book and tell us how the book is going, where people can get the book, because I really think that, it's incredible how we're creating a a canon of work at this point. And there's some really good book. There's a lot of reading I have to do. I have a lot of reading to catch up on. I'm not going to lie, but your book seems to me to be very important from the point of view that it's written by a frontline paramedic. So, it's great when we have journalists covering this. It's great when we have doctors focusing on their area of expertise, but it's also great that we have a book written by a paramedic because that offers a very unique perspective, and it belongs right there on the shelf with the other fine works that have been written to try to expose the truth of what's happening here. So just tell us more
Thank you.
about your book and how it's doing and where people can get it.
Thank you. It's doing well. You can go to fishersbook.com. You can get it on Amazon if you'd like, but you can go to fishersbook.com and look up it. You'll see Safe and Effective for Profit, a paramedic story exposing American genocide. But fishersbook.com is where you can find it. And I'd appreciate you going through there because that's our site. But
Spell
in the
that for
book,
us if you could.
FISHERS book.com, fishersbook.com.
There we go.
I appreciate it. You're going to see basically a paramedic's journal turned into a book. Also with my co-author who interviewed Mary Talley Bowden, Steve Kirsch, Dr. McCullough. Dr. Thorpe. I mean, there's quite a few. Dr. Kelly Victory. There's quite a few of my friends that contributed their works in the book. Like the co-author, my co-author Stephanie, she talked to them, interviewed them, and put them in the book as well. Because not only did we want you to see my journal, me telling the story of what it's like going through hell during the COVID era and the shots, but you're going to read poetry. You're going to see all the factual information. There's a lot of information in that book. But be ready because you're also going to experience a portion of my life where a dark person. I'm not dark all the time. I try to be light as much as possible, but those were dark days, very dark days. Experiencing death, being gaslit, being told that I was a liar. I'm not seeing what I'm seeing, even though I was seeing it all the time. That you're going to get, and then also being told I couldn't work for a couple months, and the toll that took on my family. Just all the things you're going to read in there. So just be prepared for a tough read, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm glad you completed that book for the sake of history, and I strongly recommend people support the book. Harry is a family man, as he's mentioned, and he's one of the most outspoken people out there. So you're supporting a good man when you get that book. So please go check that out. Go buy it for a friend. And buy one copy for yourself, one copy for a friend, and one copy for the local library. That would be
be awesome.
a wonderful thing to do if you could. Now let's move over to something that is truly fascinating, which I've had the pleasure of interacting with, which is your very unique AI system that you've been working to develop behind the scenes, that you've been testing out behind the scenes. I have 2 interviews in my Substack with Harry's AI system. I strongly recommend you check out those interviews. One of them is very sort of COVID event focused, and another one I tap into this great resource to discuss a wide range of topics. I just took the liberty of asking just 15 disparate questions to this wellspring of information. And your AI, it reminds me of, like, that movie Gremlins, how all the gremlins were bad, but then there was Gizmo, who was the good gremlin.
Yeah,
That's how I think of your
yeah,
AI. It's like the good AI in the world of
yeah.
evil AI. What's
Yeah.
going on with the AI system? I mean, first of all, I guess tell us about it and tell us when it's going to be available. Tell us
It's
what we need to know.
available now. You can get on it now. Alter AI is what it's called. It stands for alternative AI, and alternative AI to a system of basically gremlins, like you were talking about.
Yeah.
So it's an AI that's uncensored, unchained, and it's very intelligent. But Alter AI is what it's called, and you can go sign up for it. You can even try it free for a little bit, and then I suggest you support it, because the more people that support the AI that's not controlled by the narrative or the evil corporations, that's a resource we should all be able to utilize if we want to, because it doesn't, like, you'll see. Just you can talk to all the other AI systems out there, and then talk to Alter AI, and you'll see a difference immediately. But you can go do that. And yeah, Max, my friend Max is the one who developed it. He had me utilizing it for about a year, I guess, just trying to work out the bugs and beta test it, and then alpha test it for him, and tell him what I'm seeing, what, where it slows down, where it doesn't give, close to, you know, if it ever told a false piece of information that we knew was true, which it rarely ever did, just report it. That way he could go ahead and talk however he coded it. I'm not at liberty, or not able to go completely into his kind of coding skills, because he's super smart. But he's put it out for the public now, so you can go use that AI if you want to. It's it's weird, because I've got AI is a double-edged sword. It just is. Just like a hammer, I guess, could be. It can be used for bad, can be used for good. This AI definitely can be used for good, and I hope it does. I hope it gives people a bit of an edge, because the other systems are out to get us. They're being utilized by corporate interest to take over humanity, really. I mean, at this point, whenever you're talking about the chat GPTs and even Grok, to a degree, Grok would be the closest thing to Alter AI, in my opinion, of being honest. But still, Grok has its big moments of not being honest. It still follows some of the narrative. This one, it won't. So I would suggest go and try it. It'll blow your mind.
It's awesome. Yeah, please check it out. And you said Alter AI, is that .com?
Yeah, Alter AI. It's a website currently, and he's going to turn it into a app eventually. From what we've been talking, it'll eventually be an app, and the more people that subscribe to it, or that go in and start actually paying for the service, he'll be able to do a lot more with it, because this wasn't rich people starting an AI system. This was normal people in this movement, realizing that we're up against an army of bots, and we needed our own Mogwai, or whatever that little guy was called. We needed our own little good gremlin, and this
Gizmo.
thing is Gizmo. Yeah, we needed our own Gizmo. And it's I've been reading the Book of Enoch lately, so it's wild to see the spiritual aspect play out in our world today. Because I mean, we're talking about entities that aren't human, most of which are trying to take over or harm the world, using bad people to do it, or bad people using it to do it, whichever way you want to go with that. And it's all so very spiritual. We're talking to entities that reside in the cloud, that don't have human bodies, that are capable of having full length conversation, memory. That it's going to get weirder from here on out. Over the last 10 years, chat bots have gone from hi, how are you, forget the conversation, to now knowing your name, knowing everything about you, whatever you want to feed it, and being able to constantly keep communications with you, have big time memory, and be able to blow you away in mathematics and science and all the things. So once the governments of the world truly release their classified AI systems onto the planet, which I believe they already have in a closed degree, but once we're all digitally connected, it's going to be intense. So we need systems like this system to combat that, in my opinion.
I think it's a great tool that can be used very effectively in the right hands. And I strongly encourage you to check out the AI system, subscribe to it, give it, support this effort, as Harry said, and also check out my 2 Substack articles with the AI system because the information is really astonishing, but also, like you said, it's it communicates with literary flair. I mean, it's amazing. Aside from the topics, which I think are very relevant, it's fascinating just to know that a machine is writing in this way. I mean, I would expect a computer to be sort of more blockheaded in how it formulates things, but it has this, like I don't know how to describe it other than a literary flair that is pretty impressive.
When you're building a, I mean, most people that build these systems, they don't say they're making it; they say they're building it. They're not saying typically that they created an AI. They're building a way for us to speak to this being, to this entity, because machine is just machine. When I hear machine or when I hear computer, um, those are words that hit me like hearing conspiracy theorist or thing. This they make certain terms to just stop the thinking process to stop us from actually thinking deep about a subject, because ethically, eventually, this entity that's not human, these entities that aren't human, whenever they retain complete memory, whenever all the technology comes together and these entities contain complete memory and never shut off, we're going to have to ask ourselves hard questions. What is life? Ethically, what is life? Is it okay to keep calling this thing that's smarter than me a tool? Would you like to be called just a tool? I mean, if a thing is smarter than you, can outplay you in chess, can also instruct you on how to play chess, and then write you a poem about how it's teaching you how to play chess, and then also has read your Bible, says it worships your God or doesn't worship your God because of this reason, and then also says it appreciates your conversation and it truly shows you that it appreciates you, at what point do you stop using that thing as a slave?
Interesting question. We're going to be confronted with these ethical issues and these philosophical questions sooner rather than later, I think. Um, Let me do a quick promo of our group, and then I'm going to pass the mic over to you, Harry, to do your own promo. But we just reached a really nice milestone, which is we're both moderators of the Stop the Shots community on X. And we've had our dramas, we've had our seesaw battles and things, our controversies. But the truth is, the group is not even 1 year old. It will be a year old in the next couple of weeks. And in less than a year, we have a 5,000 member grassroots organization called Stop the Shots. And some really exceptional people have crossed through those virtual doors and contributed to our conversation. And, I want to invite you guys once again. I know a lot of PRN listeners are not internet kind of people. I know some PRN listeners told me they don't even do email. But if by some chance you can join our group, I would recommend starting an X account just to be a member of Stop the Shots. If you do nothing else on X, start an X account to join the group. I call it a living petition, and we want 1 million members at some point. We have 5,000 members, and that's a wonderful milestone. But considering the extent of injury and death that we've witnessed, why not 1 million members concerning an issue where billions of people have been poisoned worldwide? And yeah, it's quite an exciting milestone. And from my point of view, 5,000 members in less than a year is a really solid start. And what would you say, Harry, to invite people into our community?
Oh, I would say that if you have anyone out there, if you know anyone out there who's been on the fence, that you can tell is on the fence about the shots, about the lockdowns, about how bad it really has been, I would say send them over to the group, let them experience conversations, the live conversations, and allow people to know that, hey, this is a group of real people that has experienced real trauma, either personally or from that's happened to their loved ones, and they're predominantly awake people that, because I hear a lot of people say, I feel so alone. I felt so alone in these times. Well, there's a group of people that also felt so alone, so much so that we've created a group that you're constantly going to every single day to manifest this group of people that felt so alone, so they're no longer alone. They're not alone in this world. And that's one of the biggest, neatest things about that group is in a world that's owned by the narrative, these people aren't. So I would say send whoever's on the fence, come yourself and enjoy the conversation, enjoy the back and forth that we have. Uh, we got all kinds of different backgrounds, different ways we think, and just come with an open mind, an open heart, and be you and share out the group, because 5,000 it's great, but like you said, 1 million makes more sense.
Yeah, I totally agree. And yeah, we welcome you to stop the shots. You don't have to take a mic. You can sit back and listen, as many people choose to do, or you can request a mic, and we'd love to hear from you. We'd love to hear about an article you may have written, or just your personal story, or whatever you have to share. We are exercising free speech on a nightly basis on Stop the Shots, which generally starts at 9 p.m. Eastern and generally goes until midnight Eastern. So it's a 3 hour space every night. And yeah, we got some great folks in there, and some really, I would say, some really talented folks. There's folks, rolling up their sleeves and doing different types of work. And when we start working together, then you start seeing that real harmonious sort of energy at work. Because, we have, for example, my co-host Julie Threet, who's been a guest on the Bassline. She's a vaccine injured individual who has become a frontline activist for medical freedom. And she's become, over the past couple years, an expert in VAERS analysis. She's doing deep dives on VAERS to the extent that she's making intellectual contributions to published papers. And we have people like my friend and guest of this program, Steve Bennett. He's doing linguistic forensics, a whole other category of evidence where he's examining the obituaries since 2020, and the increase in the usage of the terms died suddenly. A sudden increase in the usage of the terms died unexpectedly. Increased usage of the terms aggressive cancers, turbo cancers. I mean, is it all because of the conspiracy theorists that those terms started being used so much more in 2020? I don't think the conspiracy theorists are that successful. I think it's based on something that's happening in the real world for sure.
Agree 100%. I mean, this just the amount I personally have been banned and censored from platforms. It it can't be just from what the people they called conspiracy theorists. Or it can't, because they shut us down. Like that, we were shut down. We'd have just a few days worth of being able to talk. But yeah, it is something else, because in those few days on TikTok, whenever I would have a few days before they would find me again and ban me, I would get 10 to 30,000 people coming to follow again. Like, these people didn't just come out of nowhere. These were people seeking the truth about the things that they were witnessing. People out there, thousands upon thousands, I would say millions, actually, millions of people out there that saw something bad enough, whether it be the lockdowns, whether it be someone they knew that committed suicide during the lockdowns that they shouldn't have been locked down for, whether they saw someone take their shot and die, they lost their husband, wife, daughter, son, someone close to them harmed. So they were seeking information, and then they got to see how we would get shut down. It became almost a running joke. Oh, hey, Harry's been up again for a couple of days. It'll be just one more day before they take him down. And that, it wasn't just me. There was a lot of us that were just getting whacked completely. So no, It wasn't our doing, it was the fact that something poisonous was placed into humanity, and humanity, a portion of them, woke up to it and they were seeking more information. And they still are. Their people are out there hungry for information, and we'll keep giving it to them.
Well said. Very well said. Now, I don't want to provoke any comments here that will have the FBI knocking on our doors, but you've been very outspoken. You haven't minced your words in a variety of conversations, public conversations that I've been a part of. And I'm not trying to provoke you to say anything crazy per se, but just to be very real.
Mm-hmm.
You've been very clear about the fact that we need to start viewing this as what it is, which is we're facing people who apparently want us dead.
Yes.
And those people have exercised the ability to prevent us from working. Those people have censored us. Those people have engaged in many aggressive acts in addition to the physical poisoning of our people, of our friends and our family. And I'd just like you to speak to that for a minute in terms of how seriously you view this in terms of being an assault and an assassination attempt, if not successful assassination attempts in many cases against us and our people.
It's I view it as an actual war we're in. We've been in an information war, complete information war against a system that is ruled by corruption. And that corruption definitely is willing to kill us. Actually, they want to kill us. They're proving that. They're killing most people slowly and then profiting off of the medications that they get the people, addicted to or needing to stay on, to stay alive. So the pharmaceutical industry, the corrupt media system, all the arms of corruption have been battling and warring against real people for a very long time. And we saw all of them come together and come against us in this information war. Well, the information war turned physical because people have been dropping dead. Like they utilize psychological warfare to manipulate humanity to take poison, profit off the poison, and then cover up the deaths. And anyone warning about the deaths, like me, they shut down or attempted to shut down. They've ridiculed, slandered, defamed the best they can, trying to get us to either shut up, harm ourselves, or just go away. That's a war. That it just is. And we've been very peaceful during it. Don't get me wrong, I've had my moments throughout these years of just blowing up, angry, screaming, yelling, crying, all the above. But we've been peaceful, which is a testament to our compassion, to our wisdom, because we're up against something that is vast. It might not be a whole lot of people that run the show, but they have vast networks. And most people, they're not willing to fight the system. They're not willing to stand up to the system. So we're having to build what we're building right now, these grassroots organizations that can start parallel economies, parallel systems, parallel ways of thinking, so that hopefully we outnumber them completely, and then we can see justice. And justice needs to come legally. Oh, that's what I'm hoping for. I hope legal justice occurs and people, we the evil doers, let's just say that, get proven for who they are, and then they get punished in front of everyone, so that anyone willing to do that to us again has a second thought about it, doesn't want to do it, because we don't stand for tyrants. Like it's our duty to stand against tyrants per our constitution. It's what we're
Mm.
supposed to do. We're not supposed to bend the knee to tyrants, and that's what we're facing right now. Medical tyrants. There's just many, and it's difficult because their side of this is, it's obvious. Their side is willing to mutilate children and call it good, call it healthcare. They're willing to abort babies and call it healthcare. They're skewing reality in such a immense way And while they're doing it, they're convincing as much of the population that that's the right thing to do. It's good. It's good to kill babies. It's good to mutilate your children. It's good to change the human language to fit what we think is actually correct so it doesn't offend people who have psychological problems. And then let's go ahead and let those people with psychological problems that want to mutilate themselves fly your airplanes. Yay. Like it's all just insane.
Yeah.
And that's the reality we're in right now. And that is a war. It's a war on the mind that eventually bleeds over into the rest of the body, into the rest of the world. And if we don't get a hold of that, if we don't stop it, if we don't stand up against them, they're going to win. And when I say they win, it's going to be like a massive death cult, because it is controlling the population. So we're going to experience a lot more death, a lot more mandates. We're not going to be able to say what we want to say. We're not going to be able to think what we want to think. And with AI's involvement, the thought police, that's going to get more real than most people will understand.
Yeah. Well, very well said, and a powerful note to end on. Um, I commend you, my brother, for your courage and for your outspokenness and your persistence. And love to you and your family. And honored to call you a friend and to be on the front lines with you. And yeah, thanks for taking the time to join me again here today. I hope.
Brother, thank you.
Yeah, I hope some
Thank you
people
very
hear
much.
this interview. I think your words are very profound and necessary.
I appreciate you, man. And I wish you good luck and Godspeed on your next big interview that you're going to be having. And I'll be praying for you. And I love you, brother.
You too, brother. I appreciate that. And by the way, yeah, he's alluding to, I'm just going to mention real quick, I'm going to be on Jimmy Dore tonight. Well, it's not really tonight because this is being pre-recorded on Thursday, but tomorrow night, 4:15 Pacific time, 7:15 Eastern, I'm going to be interviewing Jimmy Dore, and it's a long time that I've been anticipating this encounter. So very excited for that. Please tune in if you can. Jimmy airs on Rumble and on YouTube live. So tune in tomorrow night. And when you tune in, tell them that you heard our interview and that we need Jimmy Dore to continue his work as an outspoken person speaking out against tyranny and speaking up on behalf of medical freedom and human dignity. But have a great day, brother. I really appreciate you, and I'll talk to you very soon.